Yeah. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. I'm also a part of Faith Warrior Ministries. Thank you so much for being here with me for this hour review of 90 Day Fiance, The Last Resort Season 2, Episode 17. And I'm back with my main man, Dustin. Dustin, how are you doing?
I'm doing better today. Thank you, Jonathan, for always, and yeah, doing better today. Thank you. Hmm.
Awesome to hear. Awesome to hear, Dustin. So we are getting into the final episode of the regular season before we get to our tell-all next week. And I have to say, this was one of the more meaningful episodes. A whole
Hmm.
lot happened in this episode. And so you guys, we start out with Gino. Gino and Jasmine, they're calling Matt to set up this whole arrangement for their open marriage, right? And so Jasmine has him on the phone. She's not going to show Matt Gino's face. Gino's in the background, and Gino's asking Matt some questions. He asked Matt, where did you guys meet? Have you guys been intimate? Are you in a relationship? Have you ever been in a relationship? He says he's been in plenty of relationships. Gino says, they must have protected sex if they're going to, be doing this thing. And Matt agrees. And then Matt tells Gino, I know Jasmine can be a lot at sometimes. I know Jasmine can sometimes be a bit uncompromising, as was said in Deliver Us from Eva. That's what Eva was called as a health inspector.
Right.
But you have to watch the way that you speak to Jasmine. So clearly Jasmine has told Matt how she feels Gino treats her. And Gino did not take that very well. He said, well,
Right.
we'll leave that between Jasmine and I. Stay off of that. And I get why Gino said that. However, he really needed to hear that because I don't think anyone else has told Gino that about him. Maybe I think his family might have told him that, around the time in one of the previous seasons of 90 Day Fiance. However, for someone who Gino is not connected to tell him that, and the fact that that Matt knows how Gino has been treating Jasmine, Gino did not take that very well. So, Dustin, how did you think that this whole meeting between Matt and Gino went?
I didn't think it went well at all. I don't think it went well. I don't think they got anything accomplished. Uh, I think it was a big waste of time, in my opinion. I don't
Really?
think that. I don't think that this tell-all is going to be a interesting topic because I don't think Jasmine is happy. She's not happy with Gino, and I don't think that it ain't gonna change one darn. It ain't gonna change any bit for me. Uh, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think they're even together anymore. So that's beside the point. But I don't think they're not happy in this season so far. They're not happy at all. Uh,
Well, Dustin did send me a video from Entertainment Tonight that let me know that Jasmine. This shouldn't be a spoiler for anyone. So for anyone who has not seen the tell all or the preview for the tell all, Jasmine and Gino are no longer together. Jasmine
right.
is. I don't know if she's still pregnant right now. Hey, Lady
She,
Virgo in the comments. Thank you so much
she's
for being here, Boo. Love you for
last,
watching, girl.
last time I knew she was still pregnant. So maybe
Okay.
she had her baby since then. But last
Right.
time I
Yeah.
knew, yeah, when they filmed the tell-all, she was still pregnant. So, uh,
Right.
mhm.
So I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy that Jasmine has finally left Gino. I'm so happy for that. However,
Oh my,
I didn't have too many expectations going into this meeting between Gino and Matt.
right.
Because Gino is clearly a very jealous man.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, like it's not just Gino. Any man who's going to be speaking to someone who's going to be, having sex with their wife, it's
Uh-huh.
probably not going to go too well, no matter who's involved. So I can't
Right.
put too much blame on Gino for not being more positive about the whole situation. However, Gino is the reason why Jasmine is even considering an open marriage because Gino is not having sex with Jasmine. And I will say that 100 times throughout this entire review today. So get
Yes.
used to it, y'all. But
Yes.
anyways, so
Well,
we
like
oh
like
go
I
ahead, Dustin.
like I always say, Jonathan, you have to be truthfully on how you feel. I don't matter who you are, but you have to tell the truth on how you feel because it's just going to hurt you even more. So that's just the way I feel about certain people, certain couples on this, and I don't think they tell the truth a lot of the times.
That's what it seems like. It seems like some of these couples, I won't say a lot, but some of these couples have issues with communication. However,
Right.
I do think that Gino and Jasmine do communicate well. However, I
Mhm.
think Gino can do a better job at communicating exactly
Oh
what
my.
he wants, because I don't think he's even told Jasmine what he told what he told what is his name?
Rob,
No, no, no,
Rob,
no. She told
Florian. Is that
Florian.
Florian?
Yes, thank you so much for that, Dustin. I don't
You're
think he's
welcome.
even told Jasmine what he told Florian a couple episodes ago, that he wants him and Jasmine to be on good terms for at least 6 months before he has intercourse with her again. So
And that's
Gino
what
needs
let
to do a better job of communicating with Jasmine what he's looking for, what he wants, what his boundaries are, what his guidelines are. Make it plain to Jasmine, because Jasmine is an excellent communicator. Jasmine is
mm,
always communicating. Jasmine is always telling Gina what she wants, what she needs, what her desires are, what she's looking for in a marriage. But Gino seems to
right.
be a little guarded, which, there are some people out here in this world who are guarded. However, when you're in a marriage, you have to be married to, in your marriage, you have to be able to trust the person that you are in a relationship with, so that you can have that
Right.
open communication. And I guess Gino has never maybe he's never had to be communicative with his
Right.
partners in the past, or maybe that's just
Right.
not something that he's used to.
I
But
just don't
once
think
again,
I
when you're
don't.
in a marriage with someone who's extremely communicative, you have to,
Right.
get along with the program. So
I don't think.
there,
I don't
there's
think. I
that.
don't think. I just not. I just don't think Gino is a good fit for Jasmine. To be totally honest with you, I don't think she's. I don't think they've ever been a good fit together. Uh,
No, a lot of people say opposites attract, and they definitely are opposites. But this opposite couple they're not a good match at all. At least not to me. And I've seen this from day one that I've seen them on 90 Day Fiance, that they have no business being together. And of course, thank the Lord, they are not together anymore. But
right.
anyway, so all of the couples are going out to the bar to have a little bit of a celebration before the recommitment ceremony. So everybody's out, and all of the couples want to know what happened in Gino's conversation with Matt. And Lady Virgo has a comment down here in the comments, so I'm going to read it real quick.
Hi, Lady
That's
Virgo.
not cool, though. She's pregnant by another man, and technically and legally still married to Gino. That is true, Lady Virgo. And I can't say, how do I say this? Jasmine, I will say Jasmine is morally wrong for getting pregnant by another man while she's still married to Gino. So I do agree with that, Lady Virgo, in a moral sense.
Wait,
However,
she's
I'm
still. Oh, she's still married. I didn't know she. I thought she got a divorce.
I haven't heard that they ever got a divorce. Even I haven't heard that. Now maybe they'll tell us in the tell-all whether they're in the process of a divorce. But typically, a divorce can take up to the
2 years.
least amount of time that a divorce takes to go through. I would think is like a year. Like, a divorce takes a long time to actually process and get
Mhm.
through. So she might be divorced now, but I'm sure they'll tell us in the tell-all what their current marital status is. But
We'll see.
technically and morally, Lady Virgo, I do agree with you with that. I don't think that it was a good idea for Jasmine to get pregnant by Matt. I honestly don't agree with that personally, either, because Jasmine's kids are still in Panama, at least from what
Right.
we know. Jasmine's kids are still in Panama, so for her to have
Yeah,
a
they're
third
still
child
permanent.
in another country with a man that she's not married to. Technically and morally, Lady Virgo, I do agree with you with that. However, Lady Virgo, in the same vein, I am happy for Jasmine because she does seem to be happier now that she's not with Gino. And I personally just want Jasmine to be happy. I want Gino to be happy as well. Everyone deserves
I
happiness,
want everybody to be happy.
of course.
Everybody.
But
I always want the best for everybody. Hmm.
of course, absolutely. Same with me,
All right.
Dustin. However, Gino's actions are not yielding a result of Jasmine doing right by him. But again,
Right.
Jasmine could have left Gino a long time ago. A
Mhm.
long time ago. I honestly don't know why Jasmine has been holding on to Gino with this death grip the way that she has for so long. Now, I'm assuming it probably is so that she could stay on TV and continue to have that presence on television. I'm
Well,
assuming that is
I
the
think
only reason why she's still been with him.
she was afraid to leave him because of the green card, and I thought maybe she was. I think she was afraid that she was going to get deported because of them not being together. But
That could be it as well. We never know, Dustin. And you know what? Maybe Jasmine will get into that conversation in the tell-all. We will see when we get there. But the couples
yeah,
all go out to the bar for a little celebration before the recommitment ceremony, and
uh,
everybody wants to know how the conversation went between Gino and Matt. And Rob takes this moment to speak up and
uh,
say, Gino, I don't think you should do this. Gino, Jasmine probably has feelings for this guy already. Gino, you don't know what's going to happen with this. You don't know if Jasmine's going to fall in love with this man. You shouldn't have agreed to this. And then Stacy chimes in and says, I agree with Rob. I don't think that this is a good idea, and I don't think that you should agree to an open marriage with Matt being involved. And I was a little bit surprised at Stacy taking Rob's side.
I
Lady
was
Virgo
too.
says, "I understand your point, Jojo. I agree with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing where I'm coming from, because Lady Virgo, I do understand that it's not a good look for a married woman to get pregnant by another man. Like that's never going to
Right.
look good on anyone, no matter how we feel about them.
Yeah.
We know what society thinks of those people. So
And
I don't want to put Jasmine down, but
mhm.
morally, that's not necessarily a good thing to happen. What were we going to
and I
say,
also
Dustin?
and I also agree with you. Also, Lady Virgo, me and Jonathan are on the same page with this. But I just feel bad for Jasmine because Jasmine has not been happy this whole entire season. So I do agree with you 110%. But I'm also happy for Jasmine and want the best for her as well. Hmm.
Yeah, I wish I could remember more of specifically what Rob said, but Rob is making Jasmine look like the bad guy, and then he
Hmm.
says that how do you know Jasmine didn't just come up with this idea so that she could just have sex with another man? Well, that's the whole point of an open relationship, is for her to be able to be satisfied sexually by someone who is willing to do it voluntarily, as opposed to her husband who refuses to do it with her
Now,
voluntarily.
if Gino wouldn't have refused all this, we wouldn't be having this conversation right here, right now, Jonathan. And that's just a downright period. We wouldn't have this conversation because they would be happy in the marriage way. There's the way that a regular marriage is supposed to be. They're supposed to be having these kind of talks and stuff like that, but they're not having these kind of talks, and this is what happens. And I don't want to see them fall apart the rest of the way. But apparently they had because they're no longer together.
And that
Hmm.
is my point exactly, Dustin. If Gino were having intercourse with Jasmine, this would not even be an option. This would not even been brought to the conversation in the first place if Gino was doing what husbands should be
Uh,
doing. Now, once again, to a certain extent, I understand where Gino is coming from, where he
mhm.
is not interested in being intimate with someone that he is constantly
Yes.
at odds with.
Mhm.
But why don't you get in therapy and maybe try to work out your issues so that you can get to a better place, so that you can feel good enough to be able to be intimate with your wife? But
Right.
Gino's not
They
putting
should
in the effort, and I wouldn't expect for Gino to put in the effort because he's Gino.
they should have been in therapy a long time ago, Jonathan, before now. But there wasn't. I don't know why they wasn't, but they should have been in therapy from day one because I could see the red flags a long time ago. Mhm.
I do agree with that sentiment, Dustin. And Rob is coming across to me. Lady Virgo has a comment down here.
Yeah.
I agree and feel what you're saying. Also, Dustin, you both make really good points on the topic. Thank you so much for that, Lady Virgo. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Roberto.
your input on this review, girl. I love
Appreciate
you
it.
for watching, girl. I'm so glad that you're here. So uh, I'm Rob is coming off to me as a bros before hoes type of guy. Like, he's always going to root for the man and not even consider the reason why Jasmine is asking for an open marriage, because he doesn't like. Are you going to address Gino as to the fact that he's not having sex with his wife? Like, are you going to ask him why he's not having sex with his wife? Are you going to ask him why he is not doing what Jasmine has asked him to do over and over and over again for the last 9 months, which is the reason why she wants to have an open marriage with someone else, because she's not getting what she should be getting from her husband? But Rob refuses to see it from Jasmine's standpoint. Now, I
Mm.
was surprised that Stacy was taking Rob's side with this whole conversation as well, but That's neither here nor there. I really don't care for
Mm-hmm.
Stacey to be honest. I don't think that she deserves Florian. I think
Mm-hmm.
Florian is too good of a man for Stacey anyways, but that's another topic for another day. But Jasmine ends
Right.
up walking off because she feels attacked, and she was being attacked because
Mm-hmm.
Brandon even chimes in as well. Not as vigorously as Rob does, because Rob has a very pointed opinion about this topic. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand that you might be friends with Gino, Rob, but this made me see you in a different light, Rob. And it also made me think, you have to separate the artist from the art. We can support those artists who do good music, or
Right.
are good actors or actresses or whatever field they're in. But the person themselves, like if there's something wrong with them, you got to separate those things. So I can separate the fact that you are a fine man, Rob. You are beautiful to look at, my dude. You are a gorgeous man. However,
Yes.
your attitude towards Jasmine in this space looked extremely ugly to me, and I did
Right.
not appreciate that whatsoever. And I'm just going to jump ahead just real quick, because we really don't get back to Rob ostracizing or getting on Jasmine during this topic. In the preview for the tell-all, Rob literally calls Jasmine a whore, and I can't forgive Rob for that. Like, I'm
I did.
sorry. Like, Rob just, and by the tell all, that means that I'm sure that they've watched the entire season. And I hope that Sean Robinson, who hosts the tell all, does not allow everyone to get on Jasmine's back. However, Sean has not shown in any of these tell alls that she has any control of these tell alls. She's just
She
kind of
does.
there.
She.
She's not even a referee. She's not even keeping things calm. She's just ask the question, here's the answers, let them go on and talk all that they want. So
It's the
I'm
network. It's the network. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the network that has the control. She doesn't have the control. It's the network that she works for. But I hope she does have Jasmine's back, because I don't think that she deserves to be called that. I don't think anybody deserves to be called that word. Uh,
well,
mhm.
that is one thing, Dustin. But on the other hand, when you see other reunion hosts like Andy Cohen or Wendy Williams, when she was hosting the R&B Divas
Right.
reunions, they sort of kind of had control over the conversation, and Sean
Mhm.
is just kind of there asking the questions, getting the answers, then getting to the next question. Like, there's really, Sean really doesn't have much control. And again,
Mhm.
it could be the network. I don't know. I wish
Mhm.
I did know.
I don't know
But
either, Jonathan. I just saying.
Sean seems to just be there to host, and
Right.
I wish she would do a better job of actually being a host. But Lady Virgo
Right.
says down in the comments, thanks JoJo, I really appreciate that. Yes, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative that you're here, Lady Virgo. But
Thank you.
anyway, so Jasmine walks off from the bar, and then Florian chimes in and says, Gino, why don't you have sex with your wife? Why don't you do what she's been asking you to do for the last 9 months, so that she doesn't consider having an open marriage? And
Right.
Florian and Gino sort of kind of get into a back and forth, and then Gino gets up out of his seat and is sort of kind of starting to get into Florian's face. And I don't think Gino wanted with Florian. I'm sure Florian would mop the
Mhm.
floor with Gino if Gino even stepped crossways or looked at
Yeah.
Florian
I think
sideways.
so.
Like, Gino, you're not that man. You're not that guy. Like, I would not I would not expect you to win any fight with anyone under any circumstances in any way, shape, and or form.
I don't.
But I'm so glad that Florian is sticking up for Jasmine in this moment, because Florian seems to be the only person in the room that is sticking up for Jasmine. I really wish that Julia would have spoken up for Jasmine a little bit. But Julia, that's really not Julia's. That's really not Julia's personality. She's not
All
one
right.
to want to get into conflict or to get into
Yeah.
confrontation with anyone. So I guess I can understand. But I am glad that Julia pulled Jasmine to the side and was kind of comforting her. Stacey was there too, but once again, like, I look at Stacey with a side eye, like, I just don't care for Stacey too much. But were you
Yeah.
surprised that Gino got as upset as he did with Florian, for Florian just telling him what he should be doing so that he doesn't even have to consider being in an open marriage to begin with?
Yeah, I was surprised about that, but I was kind of shocked to hear about that, but it's sad. It really was sad, and it was really shocking to me as well, Jonathan. So I do apologize about that. I was really talking about that.
It's okay, Dustin. I understand. It's all right. A little bit of coughing never hurt nobody. It's for me. It's like, and then at the end of the whole bar thing, Gina was like, "Yeah, I agree with you guys. Matt's got to be out of the picture. Matt can't be the third person in this marriage. And she already knows him too well, and they already have a friendship. And I don't want them to become too close. Well, if he says that about Matt now, he's probably, if Jasmine were to find another person and Jasmine got close to that person, Gina would say, "Oh, well, you got to leave him too." Like Jasmine said it in her confessionals. Gina would say this about any man that she wanted to bring into their open marriage. So I get why Gino was trying to speak up for himself in that moment, because he doesn't want to look like a weak man. But Gino, you're showing yourself to be a weak man. I just got to tell you straight up. Like I'm assuming that a good portion of the viewers of 90 Day Fiance don't see Gino in the best light as far as his. I talk about manhood all the time and masculinity, and I know it's a thing, but like you're not acting like a man to me, Gino, and it's kind of pissing me off. Robin is down in the comments. Hey, Robin, thank you so much for being here, boo. Lovely to see you, Auntie. I'm so glad you're here, boo. And what do you think, Robin? I'm not sure if you've been watching Last Resort, but let me know what you think about this whole Jasmine Gino thing, and Gino getting all upset and saying that he doesn't want Matt to be the third person. But anyways, then we have Brandon and Julia. They're having a little bit of a picnic, and Julia says, "How are you doing?" And Brandon says he's doing well, and Julia says, "Well, I did agree to have a second opinion on my fertility issues. However, you have not given me an answer as to the fact that I want my parents to come over to America." And Brandon says in response, "You know how you and your family are, and how that can kind of mess things up between us, and it's." I'm thinking that Brandon's is in the mindset that Julia's parents are a little toxic, and maybe they don't bring good vibes across the seas with them. And I can get that, Brandon. I really do. I really can get that. However, Julia is literally in a foreign country by herself with no one but you. With no one but you. Julia wants some support. Julia wants someone to be with her, to support her. And Julia tells Brandon in this moment, "Well, either you consider helping my parents get over here to America, or we don't even have to talk about going to the recommitment ceremony." Hey, Aaron, I see Aaron down in the comments. Thank you so much for being here, Aaron. Oh, and Aaron, I have to tell you, Aaron, Rob showed his ass in this episode, and what he said about Jasmine and to Jasmine was extremely ugly. And like I said a little bit earlier in this review, Aaron, that Rob seems to be kind of a bros before hoes type of dude, and he doesn't consider Jasmine's point and why she's bringing up this open marriage. The reason why she's bringing it up is because her husband is not being intimate with her. So I'm starting to see, Aaron, now the side of Rob that we were seeing in his first couple of seasons of 90 Day Fiance. And he's reminding me as to why people don't like him.
Shout out to Aaron D. I've seen that side as well, and I don't like it. He's a little bit too much controlling. He's really, really too much controlling for me, but that's thank you for showing me the side, Aaron.
And Aaron says down in the comments, Rob will always be Rob. Yeah, and I get that, Aaron. Like I keep on trying to give Rob passes when he has his good moments. It makes me feel great about Rob. Oh, Rob is doing great. Rob is putting in effort. Rob is doing better. But then he does this, and it's just so disappointing, because it's like the beautiful man that I'm seeing, he's not living up to the greatness that he could be, and he is allowing his mouth to make him look ugly. But anyways, and so Julia tells Brandon, either you consider helping my parents come over to America, or we don't even have to worry about a recommitment ceremony. I'm so glad that Julia put her foot down with Brandon about this subject, and she's not letting him just run away from the conversation. What did you think of Julia kind of giving Brandon that ultimatum about helping her parents come to America?
I kind of expected that, Jonathan.
Really?
She was going to have to say something, because I don't think if she wouldn't have said that in the last week's episode, I don't think he would have understood where she was coming from, and I think that he understands. it's a whole entire package. You get me, but you also get my family as well, and you also get my support system. So either you want to support me, or I'm not going to do this. And I'm glad that she put her foot down with that one as well, Jonathan.
Yeah,
So
I loved
mhm.
seeing Julia stand up for herself, and I don't know how often Julia does that in their relationship. I'm thinking she does that. She might do that quite often. Julia comes off to me, at least in this season, as a more of a quiet person, but she's like
uh,
a girl's girl, and I love that about her. Aaron says down in the comments, Rob is a gorgeous box, a gorgeous box, but when you open the box, it's just dirt. I agree wholeheartedly with that, Aaron. I do agree wholeheartedly with that. He is a gorgeous box. You put it in the best terms, Aaron.
okay.
He is a gorgeous box. He is a gorgeous box. It's just when you look inside, it's just dirt. It's just I don't want to say fecal matter, but it's just
Oh,
dirt. It's just
go ahead, Jonathan. Just go ahead and say it for me. Go ahead and say it.
oh, I don't want to put that out on YouTube, Dustin. I'm sure you heard me say it, so I said it under my
I
best
did.
breath for a reason. So let's move on. But I'm so happy for Julia in that moment. So Stacy and Florian are in their hotel, and Stacy is writing out her vows for the recommitment ceremony. Florian is not writing down anything, and Stacy asks him, "Why aren't you writing down anything?" And Florian says, "I've got it all up here." Florian also says he wants to speak from the heart, and Stacy's like, "Well, don't you want to, write down a couple ideas, or just?" She feels as though Florian not writing anything means that he's not putting in the effort. And it's like,
Uh,
Stacy, do you know who Florian is? Because Florian, to me, I've only seen him in a couple of episodes of this season of Last Resort. And he doesn't seem to me like the type of person who would, write things down for himself when, he speaks very loudly and very clearly and intentionally for himself. So again, Stacey's just annoying the crap out of me. But anyways, so
well,
we get to
I
the
don't like I don't like Stacy, Jonathan. I've been saying this since episode one, and I still don't like her. And I don't think you're going to be able to change my opinion on Stacy because I don't like her at all. And I hope that Florian breaks up with her and deserves better because everybody deserves better than that. She doesn't understand how he does things. I speak from the heart as well, Jonathan. When I speak, I don't write stuff down on a piece of paper. No, thank you. I say what I got to say and I get it over with. And I don't think that she understands that about Florian at all.
Yeah, I'm not one to write things down either because when I have to write something down, I typically overthink those types of things, and it's better. Even though sometimes I don't trust myself when I go off the cuff, a lot of times things come out so much better for me, at least when I just go off the cuff and speak from the heart. So, anyways, we get to the
All right.
recommitment ceremony. Excuse me. Um, we get to the recommitment ceremony, and Stacey and Florian are the first to go.
All
And
right.
they have actually set it up to where it seems like Stacy is going to break up with him, but Florian actually goes first. Florian apologizes to Stacy for anything that he's done wrong to her. What he says is really, really sweet, and I love what Florian says to Stacy. And once again, just makes Florian look like the best man on this show. Period. Point blank. Ain't nobody coming close to him. Period.
Nope.
In looks
Nope.
or personality whatsoever. Florian is that man, my favorite man on the show. But anyways,
I also want to ask you about Rob when Rob was stood up and they left. They broke up in the uh, when they was standing up and Rob and Sophia broke up on the show. What did you think about that part?
yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit, Dustin. But I just want to go like couple by
Sorry about
couple first.
sorry
Yeah,
about that.
it's okay. It's completely fine. But I love what Florian was saying to Stacy. It was really sweet, really kind. I loved the tiara that Stacy was wearing as well. It was really, really cute. I thought it was really
Yeah.
cute. And so
Uh-huh.
Stacy said, she'll learn to talk less and listen more.
Uh-huh.
I hope she takes her own advice with that. With that being said, but Stacy says she's not going to give up on their marriage. She's not going to give up on their relationship. She wants to stay with him. She wants to stick it out. She wants to make things work. So Stacy and Florian are good to go. They're
Right.
awesome, and I love them. Were you expecting for Florian and Stacy to stay together, or were you expecting them to break up? What were your thoughts?
I was expecting Florian to cut it off.
Mm.
Uh, I was expecting Florian to cut it off. So it really surprised me for them to stay together. I was expecting Rob and Sophia to stay together too, but that didn't happen.
To,
Mhm.
to be honest, I don't really see Florian leaving Stacy. To be honest, like I think Florian really does love Stacy. I don't
Right.
know what that he sees in Stacey, but he clearly loves her. He clearly wants to be with her. He clearly wants to have that relationship with her. So if he likes it, so be it. I hope as long as Florian is happy with Stacey while he's with her, then I will support them staying together.
But I don't. But honestly, Jonathan, I'm just going to be honest with you. And this is how I feel. I don't think he's happy with her. But I don't think he's happy with her for the long haul. I don't think that. I think that he just be acting like he's happy for the cameras, but I don't think they're happy for the long haul. Okay.
I do think Stacey annoys Florian to a certain extent, like a whole lot. Like I think there are some things about Stacey that there are definitely some things about Stacey that Florian doesn't like, and I think sometimes he doesn't address those things with Stacey because Stacey is a firecracker and she'll come back at you with a quick comeback, and Stacey is a very confrontational type of girl, and she'll get in the mud with you. She'll go back and forth with you at the drop of a hat. Like she has no problem doing that, and I wish that Florian got with I don't want to say a better woman, but a woman that was more suited for Florian, that was more along has like the same energy as Florian, because Florian is like a laid back type of dude until you get him riled up. But Florian, for the most part, is really laid back for the most part. So that's what I love about Florian. But anyways, so then we get to Rob and Sophie. And Sophie says that she wrote a letter to her younger self and also wrote a letter to her present self as well. And she said to her younger self that you're a beautiful woman, and you're a trusting lady, and all this good stuff. And then as an adult, she says that she deserves to be treated well. She deserves to be treated kindly. She deserves to be treated with respect. And she thought that Rob was her Prince Charming. She thought that Rob was the man of her dreams. And unfortunately, Rob is not the man of her dreams. And that's how she ended the actual conversation or the actual vows. She didn't actually say, Rob, I'm breaking up with you, but Rob pretty much got the message that Sophie is breaking up with him. So now go ahead, Dustin. What were your thoughts about Sophie breaking up with Rob?
I didn't like the way she did it. I didn't like the way that it was planned out at all. I think that we knew that this was going to happen. I had a feeling. I was kind of shocked about this, but I also had a feeling that this was going to happen. But I didn't think she did it when Rob started walking away, to get some fresh air or whatever you want to call it. She started walking away, and then I don't think she quite. I don't think that he kind of unexpected, which I didn't. I wouldn't have expected that either, Jonathan. So I just wanted to get your opinion about that. If you expected that or not, I didn't really expect it, so it really shocked me to see that.
Well. I honestly didn't expect it either, Dustin. I felt like with them getting to the recommitment ceremony, I figured that because we hadn't really seen much tension between Rob and Sophie, but I think Sophie's just gone back and harkened back on their entire relationship as a whole and saw that Rob, really hasn't changed. And I really think is his communication that she found out about during their camping trip that told her that Rob is never going to change. And she's either going to have to deal with Rob being in communication with other women, or she's going to have to leave him. And I think because Rob does not respect that part of Sophie not liking him speaking to other women, Rob not changing the fact that he's speaking to the other women, knowing that Sophie does not like that he's doing that, Sophie made the decision to leave the relationship. And that's what a mature person does in a relationship when they're not happy. I did not expect to see that though. If anything, I thought it would be Rob to break up with Sophie, kind of like he broke up with her in a previous season of 90 Day Fiance.
The regular.
I thought if it was going to be anyone, it would be Rob. And then Rob leaves the ceremony. He goes back to his room. He's really pissed off. The producer asked him to read off what he said in his vows, and he said he's going to leave off. He's not going to read the first or half of the second page, but he'll read what was at the end of the second page. And essentially, Rob was going to recommit to Sophie. Aaron says down in the comments here, Florian seems like he's the. Hold on, wait a minute. Florian seems like he sees the good in Stacey, and he also is a realist. So I think he knows what he's getting. I completely agree with that. Florian can leave Stacey anytime that he chooses. Florian can make that decision on his own. And so I'm sure that if Stacey does anything that makes him feel uneasy or makes him feel like he shouldn't be in the relationship anymore, he's just going to leave. Aaron also says, choose that door, lock it, and throw away the key. Now, Aaron, I'm not
I
sure
agree
if
with
I
you.
expect for Sophie to stay away from Rob. Now, I'm not saying that for sure, like, because no one knows what's going to happen in the future. But I
Right.
hope that Sophie sticks to her plan to separate herself from Rob. And Rob said that he's going to actually move back out to California. So, excuse me, I think this might be for the best for both of them. For Sophie to just stay, I think they were living in Texas, if I'm not mistaken, and for Rob just to go back to California. And I'm following him on Instagram, and it looks like he is back in California now. So,
Oh, he is now?
look,
I didn't
yeah,
see the
that's
thing.
what it seems like, at least from the area that he's taking all of his pictures in. But
Yeah.
yeah, Sophie and Rob have broken up, and I can say that I am happy for both of them, because I do think that this is for the best for both of
Yes.
them. Then we get to Brandon and Julia. Julia takes out these 2 rocks, and she has one rock for her for getting the second opinion on her fertility issues, and the second rock for her parents. And she throws the first rock, actually almost hit Gino, which represented her fertility issues. She's going to get a second opinion on that, and she still has the second rock in her hand. And she asked Brandon straight up, "Are you going to consider helping my parents get back to America?" And then Brandon pulls out his paper. Hold on, Aaron has a comment down here. Sophie definitely is going back, and it breaks my heart. Yeah, I do expect for Sophie to find herself back in Rob's arms, to be honest, Aaron. But I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that she does better. I hope she does better this time. But anyways, Brandon pulls out his paper and says that he is going to help Julia's parents get over to America. He recommits himself to her. So did you expect for Brandon and Julia to stay together, or did you expect them to break up in this recommitment ceremony?
Well, kind of 50-50, Jonathan. I wanted them to stay together, but also I expected them to not stay together because of the kids. Because I wouldn't think that he would agree with bringing her family over here. And I was really surprised when he agreed to bring her family over to the United States of America. So I I am happy for them to stay together, but I'm also kind of preparing myself for the worst, because when you start to live with somebody 24 hours, 7 days a week, that can change things, Jonathan. I'm sure you know that it can change things, but I don't know if it would be good for them to live with the parents in their same house, 24 hours, 7 days a week. But, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be. That I don't think that would be a good thing for them for their marriage.
It'll definitely put a wrench in their dynamic in the home. I don't know how that's going to look for them, and to be honest, I honestly don't care, because to be truthfully honest, I think Julia can do better than Brandon. I don't think Brandon is ready for a relationship, much
So can
less
I.
a marriage. And so I
Hmm.
think Brandon still has some growing up to do, even though I think he's
I
in
think
either in his mid or late 30s. But
I
I think
think
Brandon
Brand
has some maturing to do.
I think Brandon wants to be with the mom and dad, his mom and dad, full time, and I don't think that he quite understands that where Julia is coming from. I know that there's been progress, but I don't think there's been enough progress. I think there needs to be more progress, and I don't know whether it can withstand all the changes that's coming up.
Yeah, we'll see. At least in the tell-all,
Hmm.
if Julia's parents have come over to America by the time they get to the tell-all.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
hope the best for them, though. Aaron says down here in the comments, actually thought these two would recommit, but I don't think they will keep their promises. I do agree with that. I do think that Julia's parents coming over is going to change the dynamic of their relationship, and it wouldn't surprise me that Julia's parents might break them up. And if they
Hmm.
do, good riddance, because I think Julia can do better, and I think Brandon has some growing up to do. But anyways, let's get
Right.
to this last couple, Jasmine and
Yeah.
Gino. So Jasmine says that she will always love Gino forever and ever, but she asked him point blank, do you agree and do you commit to this open marriage, and do you commit to having Matt being the third person in our marriage? Because they have a conversation before the recommitment ceremony, and Jasmine says, Matt is the only person that I want it to be. I don't want it to be anyone else. Either you're okay with that or we are done. And so I'm so glad Jasmine put her foot down in that moment while they were talking before the recommitment ceremony. So she asked, during the recommitment ceremony, straight up, are you agreeing with Matt being the third person in our marriage? And he kind of hesitates initially, but then he eventually says yes. And they have a nice little moment or whatever the case might be. So were you expecting for Gino to agree to having an open marriage and having Matt be the third person?
No, I wasn't.
No,
I wasn't, Jonathan. I wasn't.
And why do you say that?
Because I knew that I felt like I knew that he wasn't going to approve to that, because he was, when the season first started, he was he was not going to do it, and I don't know what made him change his mind. But I don't think it's the best for them. I don't think it's the best for Gino. As we could tell, they're no longer together. So, it's. I think Jasmine's better with Matt on a full-time basis anyway, by herself.
I hope that in this tell-all, Sean does not take her foot off of Gino's neck concerning him not having sex with Jasmine. I hope that she does not let him go with a BS excuse for not being with her, for not being intimate with her. I hope she does not let up on that. Now, I don't expect for that to happen, but those are my hopes and thoughts and dreams. Natalie is also there during the recommitment ceremony. The therapist kind of said, she's recommitting herself to herself. So be it, whatever. Josh actually ended up leaving, and Josh said in his confessional before he left that he needs to focus more on himself. Josh, all you do is focus on yourself. What do you mean you're going to take time to focus on yourself? You're all about yourself, Josh. At least that's all that I've seen of you in this season of The Last Resort. Like, he's a nice looking man or whatever the case might be, but his ego is so big, and he does not consider Natalie, or didn't consider Natalie rather, in any of the decisions that he was making or any of the way that he was talking. So anyways, all the couples, they pop a little champagne, they have a little bit of a get together. Aaron says down in the comments, I love Jasmine. I love Jasmine too, Aaron. Jasmine is my favorite female on this show. Period, point blank, of all time. Out of all the women that we've seen on Fiance, Jasmine is my favorite.
Let me ask you, who's your favorite man? Who's your favorite male on this season?
On this season, my favorite man is Florian. Now, altogether, I'd have to say Sarper. But just this season, I'll say Florian. But Sarper is my number one altogether of all time. Like that man is just daddy. He's just daddy. Okay, he's daddy, honey. Okay.
Speaking of Surfer, he's on the other season, the 90 Day Fiance. So after this season gets over with, we're going to be doing the regular season. So I can't wait to see that part. I can't wait to see that.
I cannot wait to see Sarper's fine ass on my tablet again. Oh, that man's so fine, honey. He's so fine. And he's like the epitome of manhood to me. Like, he just stands so tall and he's so confident, but he's not egotistical. And that's the perfect match. Like someone who knows who they are, but they don't have to just shove it in everybody's faces. Like, I'm this. No, you just show and prove just by you walking
There's
through
one
the
thing.
door.
One thing that I want your opinion on, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. They're having a 2-part tell-all. What do you think about that? I think they should only have 1 part of a tell-all, not a 2-part, because I don't think there's going to be enough for a 2-part tell-all. But they do it every season.
Well, just like they had, I think it was a 3-part tell-all on the last season of 90 Day Fiance that we reviewed, and that 3rd part we didn't even review it or talk about it. I hope that there is more meat and more juice in the 2 parts that they have. And 2 parts does not surprise me. Like, I expect it to be at least 2 parts. So I'm not surprised by that. I don't feel bad about that. I don't think that it's a bad thing. Now, if it was a 3 or 4-parter, that would be something else. But I think 2 parts is reasonable. Aaron says down here in the comments, Gino wanted a trophy wife. Exactly, Aaron. A wife that looks good but can't talk. Jasmine, a real woman, and And Gino
Yeah.
can't handle real, and no way he being honest in the recommitment. No, I don't think he was being honest in the recommitment ceremony either, Aaron. I think Gino just does things for camera's sake and for the sake of those who are around him and support him. I don't think Gino really knows who he is. I don't think Gino really has an identity for himself. Excuse me, besides his hats. Like, I can't put my finger on Gino because I don't know who Gino really is. And Erin says she likes two parts. Yeah, I don't mind a two part tell all. It's just when you get into 3 and 4 parts and you're talking about a whole bunch of nothing, or you're rehashing conversations that you had in the first and second part just to talk about it again. Like, that's stupid. Like, just talk about what you need to talk about and get on with your bad self. So for this review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this review. I love you guys for being in the comments. The people in the comments are my favorite part of coming here to YouTube because this back and forth is amazing. Some reciprocity, like Jennifer always says, is all that I need. So make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, press that like button. Let me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about these couples that are on this retreat. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And make sure you share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. Dustin, why don't you go ahead and give us your social media contacts real quick?
My social media contacts is Dustin Butler 700. My Instagram, my Facebook is Dustin Butler. And I always want to thank Jonathan for always being there for me as well. And love you very much, Jonathan.
Absolutely. You're very welcome, Dustin. Love you too. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_Speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $JonathanLee07. That's $JonathAnlee07. That is JonathAnlee07. Once again, this is JoJo Speaks. I'm also a part of Faithful Warrior Ministries. Thank you all so much for joining us for this review. Join us next week for the tell-all, and also join me on Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary chat. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you guys so much for being here. Join us next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. You guys stay dry out there. It's raining out here in Columbia, South Carolina, and stay warm out there as well. Love you guys for watching. Bye, guys.